Hi, I'm Effie. This is What Effie Reads, and in this video, I'm going to be rereading the Sandman Volume 1. So I've basically only just started it, and it's just made me super excited for the TV show because the opening reads so much like the trailer for the TV show, which makes me think it's going to be pretty faithfully adapted, and I'm just so hyped. So I'm continuing to enjoy volume 1 of the Sandman. It is a lot of sorry, that's my Kindle. It's a lot of information being thrown at you. Like, it's easy enough to take in the information. It's just a lot because it's setting everything up. It does feel a little disjointed, but I do know that all of the narratives weave together, and the way that I'm going to say the first issue, I'm not quite sure how the comics were originally published, because obviously they're now bound up into volumes. But yeah, I think the first issue maybe. I like the way that it kind of goes through time, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the TV show handles that, if it's going to spend a bit more time on those things, or if it is going to be like bang, bang, bang. So pretty intrigued to see where that goes. But what I will say is I'm struggling to focus on it. I don't know if it's just that I'm tired. I don't know if it's an issue with the format. So I have grabbed my Kindle and I'm going to borrow it from Amazon because I saw that it was on Kindle Unlimited the other day. Now, unless they've taken it off in the last week or whatever, they had the full series available on KU. So I'm going to get the comic and try reading up my Kindle and see if I can focus a bit better, because I really need to get this finished today. And that's my reread of Volume 1 of The Sandman complete. I realised that I haven't actually talked about what this graphic novel is. Like, maybe I'll have an intro to this video where I talk about it. But essentially, this is the story of, well, it starts off this way anyway. A group of magicians decide that in order to overcome death, they need to capture the character of Death. But in trying to capture Death, they actually capture Death's brother, and that is Dream. And then Dream ends up captured for something. And then Dream ends up captured for 70 years. And there's all these like knock-on effects. And then the rest of the book deals with Dream trying to get his possessions back and rebuild his world, because after 70 years things are not quite the same. It is a little disjointed because it is essentially like 8 different stories, like they all interconnect, but the way that everything interconnects isn't as smooth and seamless as I remember it being later in the story, but you do get introduced to some really interesting characters. And what surprised me, because obviously either it went completely over my head or I forgot, but because this is set in the DC universe, you do get like the slightest cameos from some DC characters you'd recognize. Like there's a little bit of Batman and Robin. There's also the Scarecrow, which was really fun to see. But yeah, overall, like it's enjoyable. And I think if you take each individual story arc, I'm not sure the proper terminology. I don't read a lot of comics, but issue. If you take them in their own right, like they stand up really nicely and they give like a complete story in themselves. But overall, things are only just starting to come together at the end of this volume. Oh, and I absolutely love the last issue in this volume that forms a kind of epilogue, because that's when you meet Death for the first time. And oh my gosh, the character of Death is so cool. I love her so much. When I said at the start of this video that Death is my favourite of the Endless, like I stand by that, but then you do meet more of the Endless as the series continues. I think that's the other thing I'm very interested about. Like, I know that the first series of the TV show is primarily going to be volume 1, but then it gets into a bit of volume 2. But in volume 1, the only members of the Endless that you meet are Death and Dream. And I know for a fact they've cast at least some of the rest of the Endless. I can't actually remember who all of the Endless are, but I know for a fact Desire's been cast. And I feel like someone else has been cast. I can't remember, but there are more of the Endless who have been cast, which makes me interested to see if they're going to weave more of this family into the storyline throughout the series, or if it's just that we see more of the Endless in volume 2. But I think this was a very solid start to the series, and it just got me even more hyped for the TV show. I think my final thoughts on this volume and kind of what I'm really interested to see in the TV show are that it's a lot darker than I remembered. I didn't realise it was in the horror genre. I'm not sure why. I think in my mind, like graphic novels are within this certain box, which is stupid because you have the likes of Junji Ito that is like all horror. But I just didn't expect this to be horror. And it is pretty horrible in places. And I think the other thing is as well, like, in terms of triggers, like, obviously it's a comic, so you're going over things pretty quickly. But I would say that there's triggers for almost everything that there could be triggers for. Like, there's homophobia, there's SA, there's, like, obviously there's death, death of children, like murder, like, and it gets pretty graphic when people do die. Themes of religion, like, so definitely like check it out. But I'm also very interested to see how Netflix is going to play with that, because this is not a graphic novel that shies away from the darker stuff. And I think it will be interesting to see if we see more of these like more horrifying things on screen, because there's certain things that happen that get like literally one line in the story, but I could see that being played out as like a full scene in the TV show. I don't know. Like, it's coming out tomorrow and I'm so hyped for it. I hope you enjoyed this. I know this was probably a pretty disjointed video. I'm not sure if I got very many thoughts across. But hit the subscribe button if you're interested in seeing me read the rest of the graphic novel series. I would like to, well, I would like to read it soon because I'm hoping that this show is going to have more than one season. It certainly feels like Netflix is putting a lot of their energy behind it, unlike some other shows that I've been excited for this year. So yeah, subscribe if you are interested in seeing my thoughts on the rest of the series. And also keep an eye out on my channel because I will be watching and reacting to the first season of Sandman. I'm going to be splitting it over a few videos, but keep your eyes peeled for that. If you did enjoy this video, give it a like. Please comment on your thoughts on this volume. Keep it to volume 1 though, because I forget a lot of things in books if I haven't read them in a while, and I would rather not be spoiled for the rest of the series. But until next time, love you. Bye.